America Meditating Radio Show, we collect wisdom, inspire each other, and empower hearts 24/7. Hi, I'm Sister Jenna. Join me and guest on Blog Talk Radio as we amplify stories that compel us to be more for ourselves and everyone else around us.
The Azar Foundation for Children of the World is an organization aimed to support women and children in need across the globe. We believe in empowering lives, strengthening minds, and providing programs that enrich health and education. The Azar Foundation was founded in 2003 and has been serving the world ever since. Visit us at our website at www.azarforchildren.org. That's www.azar4children.org to find out more information about our endeavors and join our mailing list. Remember, the smile and the cry of a child doesn't have any language. The Azar Foundation.
Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor?
Hi, neighbor.
Mr. Rogers passed along friendship, hoping we would too. Friendship, pass it on, from the Foundation for a Better Life at Values.com.
Are you in need of a tech service company that's going to deliver the best solutions for your business? Then Attronica is your solutions headquarters. Here we specialize in your individual needs to make sure your business shines. For more information, please call 301-417-0070 or visit us at our website at attronica.net. Attronica, where we deliver for you. Are you stressed, frustrated, or annoyed at work? You don't have to be. Soothe your mind and open your heart as Sister Jenna guides you through a peaceful, calming meditation that will prepare you to focus, be present, and most importantly, bring you back to your inner peace.
Guru
Hello, everyone, and welcome to America Meditating Radio. I'm your host, Sister Jenna, and it's always beautiful to be broadcasting from the amazing Meditation Museum in the nation's capital. Well, we are underway with Meditate the Vote, and A lot of people are asking, which I actually like that. They're going, what is meditate the vote? Exactly what I want you to do. I want you to start to really ask questions, and I want our country and the citizens of this country to really start to wake up from the sleep of just moving on with life as business as usual. I think this current political campaign, in a meeting that we were on last night, there were many, many experts, and they were sharing they've never seen anything like what they've witnessed in this current presidential campaign. And I think that it's speaking volumes in terms of who we are as a nation and perhaps the choice that we have to direct where we wish to go. But that is if we do something, and if we don't do something, it'll also take us perhaps in a direction that we're supposed to be going to. I don't know. But what Meditate the Vote is actually asking us to do is just to think a little bit different, to raise the conversation, the quality of the conversation. And the month of May has been declared as National Meditation Month, and the American Meditating Radio Show is very pleased to begin this conversation called Meditate the Vote using 4 key questions, such as, do you believe that you're powerful enough to affect change? And what do you value the most about America? Do you believe in your self-worth, and does your life model that belief? And let us know if there's a way that you are engaging in conversation where it's creating separation or division. And we want you to begin to share that conversation in social media languaging and hashtag to Meditate the Vote. I know you're doing a lot of different events and programs and projects, and just taking the kids to soccer and to swim and to class and school and friends and parties and shopping is a lot. But we're also spending time on the internet, and we're also looking at other people's Facebook and tweets and seeing what they're doing. And why not begin to engage in something that just might stimulate someone at a level of accountability and definitely a sense of deeper purpose as to who we are and why we're doing what we're doing. I've done now perhaps for the last 18 years at least 17 major initiatives and projects. And I don't know, there's just something about this one that seems to be calling me at a level of deep interest and at a level of care more than ever. We're not choosing political sides. We're not trying to initiate or deter anyone from changing their minds. Regardless of whoever comes into office in 2017, we are still responsible for the quality of life that we wish to live. Regardless of if they help us to make it a little bit easier or not, we've got to make our own life work as best as we can. My invitation to all of you, my friends, this is my hope, not only for my life, but for yours and for the generations to come. Stay tuned. We're going to have Cara Bradley on the air. She's an author of On the Verge, what used to be a former pro skater and a now passionate teacher of yoga and meditation. Cara will be sharing with us a little bit about what she's been up to. Before we get Cara on the air, do we have Sister Gita who's going to read us one of her beautiful sharings? So, Sister Gita?
Good day to you, and whether it be raining or not, let there be the rains of wisdom inside of our beings as we go through today's situation. This is taken from the Book of Inspiration, Step Ahead, authored through the Brahma Kumaris. Can be obtained at the Meditation Museum or any Brahma Kumaris center. Okay. Whenever problems come my way, I tend to feel heavy with wasteful and negative thoughts. At that time, I am not able to feel free and light. When there is this heaviness in my mind, I can't move forward with enthusiasm, and thereby find it difficult to contribute for others' progress as well. Solution: whatever the circumstances I am faced with, I need to make special effort not to reduce my enthusiasm in any way. I need to be able to think about the future and make sure what I'm doing in the present will not create further heaviness. The more I'm able to be enthusiastic, the more I am contribute to the progress of myself and others, along with my own progress and the progress of the nation in general. To be free from carelessness is to be enthusiastic. Let us be enthusiastic and contemplative as we go through today. Om Shanti. Great, great day.
Om Shanti. The time that we choose to be aware doesn't necessarily require me to just sit and meditate. But even while I walk and move around, I can be in a meditative awareness, which is awareness of the soul, the original, eternal, imperishable being of light. For a little while, I'd like to invite you to be present, to be here, and to be now. Allow your mind to settle in the moment, to relax. This meditation is about awareness. It's about becoming aware of your original and eternal self. It's about connecting to your truth. Let go of your name. And observe yourself feeling nameless. Let go of your gender, to discontinue thinking you're a man or a woman. Let it go and observe how you would feel walking around without a gender. Let go of the role that you play and let go of the titles that you own. Observe how you're feeling as you are gradually letting go. Let go of your religion and put it aside just for now. And let go of your nationality and even the language that you're accustomed to. Imagine you have no name, gender, role, title, religion, nationality, or even a language. Ask yourself, how do you feel at this moment? And in this feeling, who would think of you and who would you think of? The Supreme Soul would think of you, and you, the liberated soul, would think of the Supreme. In this state of absolute freedom, I am truly who I am. A free, peaceful, pure, immortal, and eternal soul. Allow yourself to just be absorbed in this awareness. At this time.
Welcome back. That was Letting Go from my Off the Grid, Into the Heart meditation CD. Did you like that? I sure hope so. It's one of my all-time favorites. The American Meditating Radio is proud to welcome Cara Bradley. Cara's the author of a new book entitled On the Verge. She's a former pro skater and is a passionate teacher of yoga, meditation, and fitness, who has been in the trenches of personal transformation as a mental strength coach for over 3 decades. At her Verge Yoga Center, there are retreats and corporate training sessions and with sports teams at Villanova University and Penn State. Today, we're proud to welcome Cara to the American Meditating Radio Show. Welcome, Cara.
Thank you. Thank you. What a beautiful meditation.
I'm glad that you like it. It's actually one of my favorites. Well, you're very much into meditation as well, and would love to find out and have our listeners also journey with us today as to what was it that got Cara even on her journey in terms of meditation and yoga. I mean, I know when you're training for being a pro skater, it takes a lot of discipline, and within that, it's a meditation. But looking at meditation from a more inner transformational process, how did Cara get started?
That's a great question. Well, it was definitely from my childhood. I had a specific experience when I was 19, as many of us do. We have these moments of, breakthroughs. I was a college track runner and had a peak performance, or some could say a flow experience, during my last college race. And it struck me, that experience, because while it was a peak performance, the experience was incredibly ordinary. I felt more like myself than I ever had, yet I had tapped into a clarity and a strength and a confidence that I'd never felt before. And so that experience sent me on my search for what had I done to access this state. How can I do it again? How can I do it in all aspects of my life? And so a combination of that experience, and also I was a figure skater growing up. I didn't realize it at the time, but back then when we were competing as figure skaters, we used to do figure eights, which meant being on the ice with a big 8 on the ice, and you had to trace it for an hour at a time. And I used to do that before school, after school, and I loved it. Most of my friends hated figures. I couldn't wait to get out there into the silence with the crisp air and the sound of the ice crackling and the precision it took to make those figures on an edge of a blade. Now, of course, I realize, my gosh, that was a meditation. I was training myself in mindfulness at a young age. But it didn't become apparent until that race that I actually have the capacity to access a very clear, calm state on purpose. That sent me on my way into this exploration.
Beautiful. It's amazing how we can find ourselves in understanding that meditation for me, Cara, isn't a sitting down, emptying the mind, as I was actually sort of conditioned to believe back in the days. It was like people who were just sitting, chanting Om, have a lot of beads, wear a lot of tie-dye. And then when I grew into my own meditation awareness, I thought that
wow, it's a person who really just wants to be accountable. And I don't think it's a person who also no longer wishes to use unhealthy thought patterns to serve them and strip them of living completely. And this is where I'm really a very strong advocate to really promote the awareness of meditation, why it's so vital at this time. Congratulations on your new book, On the Verge. And in endorsing your book, our dear friend, Congressman Tim Ryan, who's such a sweetheart, said that if you're ready to make changes to your relationship with yourself, this is the book that will be a steady guide for your hard work ahead. Let's know a little bit about what On the Verge is about and how does one live on the verge.
Well, thank you for that, and I do feel so honored to have the congressman on my book. I was so grateful for that. On the Verge, so after this college race of mine, I began to practice all different disciplines, and as we do, we try, we read, we experiment with, and my husband had been a few weeks down on the Ecuadorian Amazon with an indigenous tribe, and when he came back, he described to me a specific plot of land where the indigenous people, they revered this land as sacred, and it was right at the tip where two rivers meet. There was a lot of energy at this one spot of land, and it happened to be called the Verge. And it was on the verge, and it's been scientifically proven that animal life and wildlife thrive and are at its most diverse. And so I started to think, wow, there must be something in my life where I can thrive. Is it a place? Is it a state? Where is it? What is it? And so I began to play with this concept of living on the verge in every moment. And so the verge is simply just my way of containing, if we can, which we can't, this moment. And how do we show up in this moment and this moment and this moment? And what does it feel like to just be right here, right now? And when we do so, we shine. And so that's the subtitle of the book, Wake Up, Show Up, and Shine. Whatever we do when we're right here, right now, in the moment, we do better, whether it be listening to our child or writing an email or driving home or sipping a coffee. We're able to show up and do it, if you will, more completely, more fully on the verge. And so that's the whole premise behind living on the verge.
Well, that's interesting because we're living through a time of, and this is something that I'm working on currently, Cara. I can't believe I even catch myself walking and talking with my smartphone. And I just remember when those big mobile phones had first come out, Motorola, and you saw these people walking with these huge bricks in their ears, and you were like, wow, that's so odd. Okay, now the brick has become like a little palm-handled mechanism, but you're still talking. And, I'm just concerned about how do we become present? Because, this year I decided to just pull back. We did 200 events last year, and I'm not burnt out. I just felt that conscientiously I needed to do that because if I don't, this is not going to be healthy in the long run. So I intentionally pulled back. But yet all the reverberation of all the action and agendas and things I was involved with, they were still very present in my present. Is that just a part of the process that we have to get used to until all those vibrations just settle and we're just really present? And when we're really present, what do we do then? Homework.
Wow, I just learned something from you because it's not just what we're doing, it's actually like you said, the reverberation of all that we've put into place, and we're so good at putting stuff out there, aren't we? Wow. Well, what I've discovered, as many of us have that have been on this path, is that when I can allow myself to arrive in the center of this moment, everything feels brighter, more vivid. My body feels more energized. Even if it's not the most wonderful moment, there's still an aliveness that is very distinctive when you're right here, as opposed to being sort of here. or what I call a muted experience, which is seeing or experiencing life through the veils of your busy mind, through the veil of thought, emotion, anything that's really holding you back from arriving in the moment. And so I call these moments high definition, high voltage. And all I'm doing in my teaching really is, as many teachers do, is just pointing out that we do have these moments all day long. And so when we can start to glimpse and recognize, this is one of those high definition moments, it causes us to pause. And maybe when we pause, like you said, maybe we start to become familiar with all of the continuing reverberation of all of our task doing and manifesting.
No, that's nice. I know that for folks who are really just waking up in a sense of being more accountable to how they want to interpret their lives, not what others have told them, not what the society has told them, but what their inner strengths and gifts are telling them. So I call that the waking up. And in your book you talk about waking up and showing up. Could you maybe break that down for maybe folks who are just getting into what that languaging means for them on their spiritual journey?
Absolutely. And my real passion as a teacher is to simplify, 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 as Thoreau said. I teach so many people through movement, and it's such a natural way to shift into a seated practice if that's what you're called to do. But my main intention is to help people understand that we are already awake. In other words, we are already existing in this brilliant aliveness. It just may be muted or distorted by what's holding our mind in this moment. And so practice of mindfulness, as we all have heard, mindfulness is all over the place now, which is amazing, but I do think it can confuse people. It's confused me. Mindfulness and this practice of waking up in the moment is about noticing where we are. So when we can start to notice more often, am I here? Am I eating my lunch? Or am I eating my lunch and writing emails at the same time? Am I walking or am I walking and talking? Is not to judge ourselves, but to start to notice what our patterns are. And our patterns will really tell us about how we're living our lives. So waking up is simply an interruption of yourself in a moment when perhaps you were distracted or caught in an emotional cycle. And in recognizing, okay, here I am. So I often equate this noticing, this mindfulness, like doing a bicep curl at the gym. Go to the gym and you pick up the 10 pounds or 15 pounds. I pick up the 5 to 10 pounds, and you start to do the bicep curls to build the strength in your bicep muscles. Well, as we all know, the more repetitions you do, the stronger you get. Or the more weight you use, the stronger you get. So our practice of mindfulness, of noticing, is just like that. The more that we can notice when we're not in the moment, the more reps we do. Every time we notice, it's a repetition. And then I look at the seated meditation practice or a more formal practice as being adding on more weight. So you're actually sitting down for a certain period of time to notice where your mind goes. So I hope that helps. I try to really break it down to the simple.
It does. And I think that's what people who really do want to make a change are looking for. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
They are looking for some tools and opportunities. Now, in your book, you talk about 5 Verge practices. And I know that we all love steps because our little brains can be lazy. And I would love if you could let us know, what are the 5 steps and how can we start to apply them in our daily practices?
Well, that's great. And so since you received that, I believe I have 4 practices and 4 strategies. And I'll explain briefly what the difference is. The practices are something that we can do over and over again throughout our day that can help us become familiar with our busy mind and to help us recognize those moments between busyness, those moments between thoughts. So the practices are really about noticing. First practice is called Notice This Moment. So it was simple, like I explained before about the bicep curl and noticing. I offer a bunch of primer practices, which, by the way, I have a free app that's associated with the book. It's really exciting, and it's called On the Verge, and we're just waiting for approval from the App Store, so it may be available today or it may be available tomorrow. I'm not really sure. But there are short guided practices that you can download right onto your phone. Notice this moment, move my body. This is one of the practices that I feel like we can all do. When we move our body in rhythm, whether it's a yoga practice or walking or swimming, bike riding, anything that involves a rhythm, a cadence, when we do that and we synchronize our movement with our breath, it helps us to synchronize our mind and our body. And this enables us to start to sense this feeling of being awake and alive in the world and not stuck in the busyness of thought and emotion. So that's Move My Body. Meet My Mind is beginner meditation practices. Very light guidance on as to how to begin and start a seated practice. And then the fourth practice is called Notes to Self, and it's a way of watching your inner dialogue. And I offer reminders, questions, and intentions to repeat throughout the day that will help encourage you to be present and to help you recognize when you're not. And so those are the practices, again, very simple, easy to do, immediate implementation sort of practices.
But I believe in this, Cara. I believe that we don't need some sort of a PhD formula to get ourselves back in check. It's really just what we're doing in our everyday lives. That's just so important for us to pay more attention to. I do.
Yeah, and my message throughout the book and throughout my teaching as a yoga or meditation teacher is that you already have everything you need to do this. And there's nothing that you necessarily have to learn to do. It's really about just allowing yourself to be, allowing yourself to experience. And so if I can encourage people that,
No, it's reminding me of a conversation I had with someone the other day where he emphasizes a lot that we already are all this goodness. We already have everything that we need to shine. We are that, but yet he got angry 5 minutes later. And why I think, that's important for us to know that it's there. Now, what are the steps to keep accessing it? And I like the 4 steps that you offered. And to add to it, it's just the level of awareness that you're in when you're accessing those steps and sitting and eating and getting ready to go for a meeting and picking up the phone. That's our opportunity, don't you think, to keep emerging the awareness of what is already there, which is all that is profoundly good and pure and true that came with us when we first, descended here.
That's right. Beautifully said. I think for me, in my own experience, the real shift happened when I started to trust that I already had everything that I needed, and that there was no better version of me out there in the future after I do this or learn that or go to this retreat or study with this teacher. I am already the best version, and that is the simplicity and the truth. And when we can start glimpsing that all day long, in those moments when we glance up and see the sunrise, in those moments when we pause to listen to a friend, when we start to really directly experience our capacity to shine in life, we start to trust it. And that starts to turn our perspective away from just believing what we think into experiencing life fully, no matter what's coming up, every conversation, every breath. And it makes life, oh my gosh, I think it was Pema Chodron said, it's all raw material for waking up. I love that.
Me too. I love that. Hey, I know that you're coming to the Washington, D.C. area. Could you tell us a little bit about how we can perhaps get tickets or get involved?
Yes, so I'm headed down to the Mindful Life Summit, and that is Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in Arlington. And the Mindful Life Summit is put on by two folks that have put on the Mindful Leadership Summit that I've been presenting at for the last couple of years. And there's going to be a slew of everything mindful. Everything mindfulness, from teaching mindfulness at schools, organizations, to how to practice on your own. There'll be vendors in a marketplace and wonderful speakers, and it's the first of its kind. So super excited to be a part of this. And I believe if you go on allthingsmindful.com or .org, or just Google Mindful Life Conference, you'll get there. It's at the DoubleTree in Arlington.
Beautiful. I know that our friend Timon's going to be there as well from Sound True, and Tim Ryan, Congressman Tim Ryan, and quite a lot of people. So looking forward to it being really, really quite special in the nation's capital. And hopefully when you're here, you can stop by the Meditation Museum and just go and meet all the gang there. It's just a wonderful group of people. Would love to meet with you.
Oh, I will do that.
That would be so sweet. That would be so sweet. Cara, thank you so much for joining us on the air. I'd love to be able to talk so much more with you. I think your spirit is very much in alignment to an authentic way of unfolding back to our truth. And I think it's really, really a call for the time for many of us in our paths. So we'll definitely get you back on the air, and lots of good wishes for the Mindful Life Conference that's coming up over the weekend. And please leave us with some information in terms of where we can get a hold of you and your favorite life quote.
Okay. So I can be found at www.carabradley.net, and that's Cara with a C, or check out my free app called On the Verge for practices, videos, some movement videos. My favorite quote in so many respects is to be the change you wish to see in the world, and it's out there in so many aspects, but I remind myself that every single day by our wonderful Gandhi.
Gorgeous. Thank you so very much. Have a wonderful conference, and may the force be with you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Take good care. Bye.
Bye.
So you don't need a lot of complication, my friends, to get your mental strength in motion. I think it's just a very, very genuine step. It's to be interested, be knowledgeable, it's to be aware. So join Cara Bradley at carabradley.net, and of course the Mindfulness Conference that's coming up April 28th and 30th. Please, I need your help for the Meditate the Vote. Go to Facebook and Twitter, like, follow, do all the stuff that they do. Send us some of your videos. I want to hear you, share why is it important for us to really think deeply before we make a choice. Meditating the Vote isn't just about our country, it's about our lives, it's about the universe, it's about the planet, it's about nature. It's about the way that we're interpreting ourselves and our stories. So please join us on the Meditate the Vote from May 1st to November 8th. Let's amplify the conversation, my friends. Thank you so much for joining us on the air. Remember, no one can take away your happiness unless you give them permission. And we are here to love each other the same and to lift. Let's end today's show with Lifted by Listen to Drake. All the best.